Hi Stampers, welcome to the first Copic Basics 101 class. In this class I want to give you a brief overall of what Copics are. Copic markers were actually created in Japan about 25 years ago, and they were created with the artist in mind, and some of the original markers that were created 25 years ago are still being used today. That's how long these markers will last. A set of markers will be a lifetime set of markers. They're filled with an ethyl alcohol ink, which makes them highly blendable, and they won't pill up on your paper when you're coloring with them. The nibs are unique fiber, and they do not fall apart and get all fuzzy at the end like your other water-based markers will over use. And they're refillable. They're refillable. The nibs can be replaced if they get damaged, and they're just a really nice marker. My motto is you always get what you pay for, and you do pay a little bit more for these Copic markers, but they're definitely worth it. And once you start coloring with them and see the blendability with them, I think you'll agree. There's over 358 colors in Copic markers, and they have a 3-year shelf life. So if you didn't use them, if you kept them on the shelf, they are guaranteed for 3 years. But hopefully they're not going to sit on your shelf. Hopefully you're going to get them out and use them. They come in 4 different sizes, the wide, the original, the chow, and then the sketch. I am working with the sketch. The sketch is the most popular marker. It is the one that comes in all 358 colors, and it is the preferred marker for stampers. Like I said, the nibs are replaceable if you should damage them, so don't worry about that if you should happen to damage one. And they're easy to replace. You just take little tweezers and pull them out and then put the new one in. To refill them, you can buy the refills. The refills cost about a little bit more than a marker, but they will refill a marker up to 13 times, a sketch marker. And the ink is actually good for a lot of other techniques as well. Any of the techniques that you see using alcohol inks, the Tim Holtz alcohol inks or anything, they can all be used, those techniques can be used with the your Copics as well. So you can dye ribbon with it, you can use it to color brads, metal pieces, all kinds of stuff. And then when you're using Copics, there's a few things that you need to keep in mind. You want to use an ink that is compatible. I suggest using Memento. You want to use a dye ink. This is fast drying, so there's no heat setting or anything. You can just stamp and start coloring. You could use a pigment ink, but you need to heat set it first and make sure it's completely dry, because if it's not, your marker will pick up and be contaminated. It'll pick up the ink. The paper is also important. Copic has their Copic Express paper. I use Nina. I use the classic solar white Nina cardstock. I buy it by the ream, and I buy it at an office store at Mac Paper. And the paper is a nice heavyweight white smooth cardstock that just really takes the ink well and blends well. If you want to try some different papers, try your blending on them, because the blending ability is different with different cardstocks. That's why I prefer the Nina. You also, when you start working with Copics, you want to print out the hand chart. This is a color chart that you are going to color in with the markers that you have, and this is basically going to be your Copic Bible. This is where you go to choose your colors from. Don't choose your colors from the end of the markers because that's not an accurate basis for your color. Always go by your color chart. And then they also code their markers with their coloring code, which makes it very helpful. And on the chart you'll see, and there is one of these in the kit to download, so you can download it. I suggest printing it on your Nina cardstock so that you'll get the true color on the paper that you're going to be using, or the cardstock that you're going to be using. The first, each marker has a letter, or two letters. They tell you the color of the marker. Your BV is blue-violet, your V is violet, RV is red-violet, R is red, YR is yellow-red, yellow, yellow-green, green, blue-green, your blues, and then your E's are your earth tones. These are your browns, and then your grays. Your grays come in 4 different shades or hues. It's cool grays, warm grays, neutral grays, and toner grays. And as you learn the different coloring methods, you'll learn how to pick your colors. Then they also have numbers. Your first digit is going to be your saturation, and that's just how much pigment, how much color is in the color. So the lower the number, the less saturation of color the marker is going to have. The higher the number, the more saturation. And then your second number is your brightness, and your lower the number is going to be brighter or lighter, and then your higher the number is going to be a brighter, more colorful. And you can kind of see that when you're looking at the chart. Your low numbers up here are very light, very low saturation, and then as you get down, they get darker and a little more intense. You'll also notice the higher the number, the more earthy the colors look. They have more of an earthy tone to them. So that's just an overview of what Copics are. So we're going to go into basic blending, and we're going to learn how to blend the markers and how to choose your color.